Welcome back. This is lesson 3 and it's speaking. So if you remember from the previous video, there are 3 parts in speaking. Part 1 is the introduction where they ask you very simple questions. Part 2, you are given a topic and you have 1 minute to prepare and need to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. And part 3 is deeper discussion on part 2 where the examiner asks you questions related to the question from part 2. So if we look at section 1 or part 1, the type of questions you're going to get. Work or study? Do you work or are you a student? What do you like about your job or studies? Hometown. Can you describe your hometown? Is it a good place for young people to live? Daily routine. What is your typical day like? Do you think it's important to have a daily routine? So those questions, were there words you didn't understand or did you understand everything? Because they're not trying to trick you. These questions should be quite simple. And how you're going to answer them is what I call the 1, 2, 3 method. Imagine the examiner is so tired. You are the 15th person that they're examining today. So when you walk in, seriously, this person just wants to evaluate your English and doesn't want to do much else because they are tired, fed up, and grumpy. Just imagine that. So you don't want to go in there with a big long story and and You just don't want to do that. So the first question, do you work or study? So maybe the question, do you work or are you a student? So you answer, I'm a student and graduate in July 2. And 3, after that, I plan to go to university and study business. 1, 2, 3, and stop talking. I'm a student. I graduate in July. After that, I plan to go to university and study business. It's a good answer, and the examiner knows that you understand the question. So next one, what do you like about your job or studies? 1, 2, 3. Now, I've always enjoyed school. Sometimes I wonder what I enjoy more, learning new information or the social life. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Now about part 2. You're given a card with a question or a statement, and you have 1 minute to prepare your response, and you're expected to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. So here's a sample question. Describe a person you admire, and this is your instruction now. You should say who the person is, how you know the person, what the person does, and why you admire the person. There are 4 sections to that answer. And remember from the last video we did, you have to answer the question in full. That's the first thing they assess you on. So if you go and talk about who the person is and how you know this person, and you don't answer the other 2, then you're going to be marked down. So I'm a mind map person. I don't know, you might be a list person or a post-it note person. We're all different. But for me, I find a very quick mind map a great way of preparing for this, and even for the writing as well. So who's your favorite person? You've got who, and then how do you know the person? How? And what does this person do? And why is it the favorite person? So you've got 4 sections on there on the mind map. So what you do is you just fill in words. So who's the person? Grandmother, 76, lives with us, right? That's 5 words. How? Mother's mother, since birth, second mother. Right, we've got 6 words. Qualities, kind, listens, time, that's 3 words. And why favorite person? Beautiful person, makes us feel special, everyone loves her. Now you've written approximately 25 words on here. You can write that in 1 minute. It's easy. But when you speak, you have to talk for longer. And you see how it works. You've got 1 minute, which is 60 seconds. So for each one of these, you have to speak for 15 seconds minimum. 15 seconds on who, 15 seconds on how, 15 seconds on quality, and 15 seconds on why this is your favorite person. So when you answer and you say, grandmother 76 lives with us, you're not going to hit 15 seconds. So you're going to say, my favorite person is my grandmother. She's already 76 years old, but you won't believe it because she acts very young. My grandmother lives with us, and she makes our life so much more interesting. Every day we have a good laugh and we enjoy our time with my grandmother. Then you move on to how. How do you know this person? My grandmother's my mother's mother, not my father's mother, and she's lived with us since birth. So she's been like a second mother to me because my mother worked and my grandmother looked after us in the house. And then you move on to the qualities and you talk about the qualities and you mention more about each one. And then you mention why this person is so special and you watch the clock. And when you finish talking about how wonderful this person is, if you've hit your minute or your minute and a half, you just stop talking. Don't continue talking and then you're going, That's when people talk themselves into trouble. So once you've answered all the questions, then you stop talking. And again, imagine that the examiner is so exhausted, so tired, just wants to go home and have a nice cup of tea. So you want to show the examiner that you are answering everything. So you're going to say, I'm going to talk about my favorite person. She is. And then make sure the examiner knows you've transitioned onto how you know the person. And then what the qualities are. Make sure that the examiner understands that. You can say, you know how I know her? Because I've known her since birth, because she's like a second mother to me. Now the examiner's heard you say that. And so the only way you can really do this is by practicing. And how do you practice? You get old exam papers and you record yourself. Do little mind maps. You've got 1 minute for each mind map. You'll get better and better. And then you record yourself. You either video yourself or you record yourself for the sound. Or if you haven't got anything, sit in front of the mirror and watch yourself speak. And then the last section, the examiner is going to ask you some questions related to what you were talking about. So in topic 2 was about the person you admire. Then the questions might be, what makes a good role model? Do you think admiration for celebrities has positive or negative impact on society? Why? And how has the idea of role models changed over time? So now you see the questions have changed where they actually want you to provide reasons, examples, explanations to support your answers. Again, don't talk for a long time. The examiner wants to go home. All right, so that's all the writing for now. We'll have some more tips coming up later on. But for now, we'll see you next time for the writing practice. Good luck.